Welcome to our video presentation of our ISTE presentation, Online Video Just-in-Time Teacher Learning. We shared this in Philadelphia in June of 2019, and we're putting it on our website so everybody can watch it who maybe missed it.
As a quick introduction, I'm Katie Garrett from the Utah Education Network. I am a digital media specialist, and my background is in broadcast journalism and also instructional technology. I've been here at the UEN for about 10 years, and I specialize in open educational resources and digital accessibility.
I'm Michael Hakkarainen. I'm an experienced 3rd, 4th, and 5th grade classroom teacher. I started my educational career in Maryland, and I moved to Utah in 2013. I've also been a technology resource teacher, an adjunct professor at Mount St. Mary's University, and now I work in the PD team at Utah Education Network. So I'd like to share a quick summary about what we do at UEN for the state of Utah and our educators and our students. As a state organization funded by the state of Utah and funding from Corporation for Public Broadcasting, we provide internet connectivity for all of our public schools, colleges, and libraries. This means students that maybe go to school on a Navajo reservation get the exact same connection, speed, and access as kids in affluent suburbs of Salt Lake City or even Park City. Along with providing the best internet connectivity to support online learning, we also want to provide the best online content for students to access. So one of those examples would be on our professional development website. To ensure that Utah educators know how to utilize all of the amazing material that we have on our website, uen.org, we have a team of 8 instructors who travel around the state providing professional development. Along with UEN resources, we also provide support for Canvas, the LMS that our state has adopted, Google certification, makerspace classes, computer science programs, and we even have an ISTE certification course now for Utah educators. So whenever possible, we look for ways to leverage our state's awesome internet network infrastructure and deliver blended and online professional development. Back in 2011, in order to provide PD online, the UEN PD team came up with an idea for a webinar series called Faculty Lounge. But by 2017, we had started to develop some issues. So as you already know, watching a screencast for anything more than 3 minutes is mind-numbing, and trying to watch a screencast for 30 to 45 minutes is basically soul-crushing. Also, there aren't a lot of educators in the world, let alone Utah, who look forward to the end of the school day, running back to their classrooms and watching a screencast. So at our lowest point, we sometimes only had 3 or 4 people watching Faculty Lounge. Here's an example of how it looks.
This is a nice blast from the past.
And with that, let's turn it over to Mindy.
Can you hear me now? Yeah, I forgot to turn my mic on. Okay. Volume's too high? How do I don't know how to lower my volume. Okay.
So as these Faculty Lounge videos were saved and posted online, we did find that they got more and more viewers over the weeks and months that followed. We were also able to add them to some of our online classes and flex courses to help provide some support with instruction. And this gave us a new idea. Should we be making a library of materials to be consumed asynchronously rather than struggle to produce a live episode every week?
So we started with this goal. Let's create a just-in-time resource for teacher professional development that they can access anytime they need. And UEN TV was born.
Welcome to another episode of UEN PD TV.
The more engaged you can keep everybody at all times, the smoother the lesson goes and the more control you have in the classroom.
The only people that could help me were the students.
Yeah.
So
there's not tons of money to hire makerspace aides.
Exactly. I needed a makerspace aide, and I decided to get the students.
If you put on one of the headsets, everything you see, touch, feel is I've made by hand.
Ben Engel, who's the lead creator, designer of all the stuff you'll see, his work has always been focused on not gamification, but education.
Well, that's another episode of UENPD TV. Thanks for joining us.
All right, so let me share the backstory of our journey and how we got here. With the intent to make a webisode that modeled the same videography and editing skills that any classroom teacher could produce in their own classroom, we took to the field with an iPhone for filming and an arsenal of iMovie editing skills. And although we made some pretty nice videos that served their purpose, there was always a feeling that we could do it a little bit better. So pretty soon our episodes and stories were starting to outgrow our technological resources and skills. During the filming of this episode on drones, we asked our own UEN video crew who owned the drone to also bring their DSLRs and their nice lavalier microphones to help us with recording. And it definitely improved the quality of the footage and sound, but editing in iMovie was still a little difficult.
So when I saw what Michael and the PD team were doing with PD TV, I knew I wanted to be a part of it. At UEN, our departments are not only separate departments, but we're actually in different buildings across campus. So in the past, this has made collaborating pretty difficult. And we also didn't have a lot of common projects that we were working together on. But this was the perfect fit. Here's a look at where we're at today. This video clip highlights 3 of our favorite episodes. You'll see something from Success with Canvas, the Tech Garage, and our student-led makerspace.
So what are the kids learning while they're in the garage? What are they doing?
For the first part of the year, I was introducing them into different mediums that the kids were wanting to learn. Because right now kids are really kind of bored with Google Docs and just giving it in front of the classroom presentation. They more want to make videos, and they want to 3D print, and they want to make a robot. That's how they want to present what they're learning. So the first part of the year, I integrated the core curriculum and taught them these different things like robotics and web development, and they kind of got a taste for each course. And then at Christmas, they decided which one of these mediums they liked best, and now they're all enrolled in a online tech prep course. It's done through Canvas of that course. So now as they come out, we have 6 different classes going on. We have robotics, sound and audio mixing, web development, programming, animation and drawing. What am I forgetting? 3D printing. And they're working on learning now more in depth with that course.
Kids are just digital geniuses, I think. If I give them a textbook, I hear the moans and groans, but if I give them a Chromebook and it's got the same exact thing on Canvas, they love it. They type in the answers, it tells them if they got it correct right away, and I'll always give them a second chance so they can respell, they can rethink. They just love it.
Hello, my name is Chase. This is Mikkel, and we're gonna show you Makerspace.
So this is Makerspace. This is where we check out different items that during lunch kids can come and check them out.
Yeah, I wanted a space where students could just create and make and explore and do something else during lunch, because there's not a playground at middle school.
Right.
And that's actually kind of hard for 7th graders. So I needed a space for that, and I needed help.
Awesome.
And that's where I got my students.
So your students come in, they take over control. How do you feel about that? Was it hard at first?
It was hard at first. I will give you that.
This is a safe space, you can be honest.
I will give you that. It was very hard at first. I was kind of like leery, especially because we got a lot of money.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, a lot of money invested in like robots, and that's what they really liked. And I didn't really know what to do with them. Making the students. So yes, it is scary.
But has it been okay?
But it has been amazing. They have exceeded my expectations.
So we've talked about the importance of collaboration and teamwork when it comes to our project, but we also need the right tools to make it happen. So here's a little background on some of the equipment that we have to make this happen. So we've been able to put together a couple different production grants to fund our equipment for about under $5,000. At the core, we have a Panasonic GH5 DSLR camera, Rode mics, an H5 audio recorder, and we wanted something that we could put together really quick, because when we're in a school, we don't have a lot of time for setup and takedown. So this comes together in about 15-20 minutes. This is a screenshot of Adobe Premiere, which we now use for editing. This is a more industry standard tool, and gives us a lot more control over our final look. Making accessible content can be a big roadblock when creating content, especially video content. Luckily, we've been able to partner with a few different providers to help us make our content accessible. This is a screenshot of the Verbit platform that we easily can upload or tag media to go here. The content is captioned and then returned to us within 48 hours. We can also go back and edit the captions if needed, or we can export them for use in YouTube or on Facebook. So, have we convinced you to create your own version of something like PDTV? Here's our 7 simple steps for creating a PDTV episode. We'll walk you through our process and some of the tips and tricks that we've learned along the way.
So step 1 is, where do the ideas come from? We've worked with other educational groups and consultants like the Friday Institute from North Carolina State to collaborate and share PD. Working with educators allows us to learn their stories, and then UE and PDTV can become the perfect venue to share them. Through our LBDL program, we were able to work with schools in southeastern Utah, some of which are on Navajo National land, and that led to an episode about technology use in rural schools. Another example here was we teach a class called Mixed Reality for Education, and one of our students in the class, a teacher, wanted to do something with Google Expeditions. He also asked for support implementing the lesson. So we provided support, but we also brought the cameras along in order to tell his story, and that video has now become part of his course. Another place, conferences. Much like ISTE, we have an ISTE affiliate called USET, which holds a conference every March. We get lots of video, we do a wrap-up episode, but we also meet teachers with whom we can share their story as well.
So next up, once we have that great idea, we need to get all the information. We need the production plan to get everyone literally on the same page. This production doc contains all the important details. So it'll include like what equipment we're bringing, how many cameras and mics do we need, who on the production crew should be there that day, and what role they'll play. The logistics, who are we meeting, when and where, and most importantly, where are we going to lunch? We'll also include interview questions and contact information in case of an emergency. We found that planning the details in advance will save us a lot of stress on that production day. So some of our videos have a basic script, and we'll record an intro and an outro, usually out in front of the school or an iconic location. Based on the video, we may structure it like a conversation or an interview.
This is an example of an interview that we did with Dr. David Strayer from the University of Utah, and I'd like to take an opportunity to point out, not only is it important to write the interview questions first, but it's also a good idea to share them with your guests so they know what's coming at them. But also, it's a good idea to meet with your guests before you film the episode. In this case, I was kind of starstruck. Dr. Strayer is one of my idols, so I was nervous at first, and that kind of comes through in the video. So a good planning tip, write the questions, share them, and then meet with your interviewee first. This one is the opposite. Sometimes the script isn't needed at all. Here I'm working with my colleague, Jared Foston, and we're basically just doing a screencast narration, sort of like this one, about the new features in a tool that we already knew about. So it was very organic, no script required at all.
So once we've wrapped up the production shoot that day, we've collected all of our video, we need to edit the video. So this is a capture of one of our PDTV episodes in editing. Again, it's done in Adobe Premiere, and it takes us about 2 weeks usually to work through editing an episode.
We mentioned collaboration is key. We continue to collaborate throughout the whole process. As our editors are working on putting the video together, we watch the videos and then offer suggestions. This helps each editor better themselves as an editor, and we rely on Google Drive to share the video file versions back and forth. The cloud makes it really easy for us to asynchronously work together no matter where we are.
So here's a quick look at what our editing notes might look like. Notice right here that we have time codes. These are the specific points in the video that we want to call attention to and need editing. It makes the communication much easier.
And then the last step, step 7, how do you know when it's final? Basically, it's done when we're out of time. We release these episodes every 2 weeks, and then we promote them through social media, which is done by...
This is Megan. She's our social media coordinator. She manages our social media accounts here at UEN, and she uses a tool called Buffer, and we selected this tool for a couple of reasons, a few of them being They offer a discount for nonprofits. And then they also offer support for Instagram, which wasn't common among a lot of the other platforms. We like to use the drafts function so that we can enter all the content and we can have review and approval before the content goes live.
And then along with using social media to promote our videos, we also will repurpose them and put them into some of our online and in-person classes to support the instruction that we do on our PD team. This circles back to our faculty lounge story. Now we have this library of resources that we can direct teachers to as we go through new courses and topics. So what have we learned so far? Over the last 4 years of making UEN PD TV, we've been able to build relationships with LEAs, organizations, and teachers across the state of Utah. As an organization, we've learned how to leverage social media and data from social media to maximize our communication with educators. We've learned to use YouTube more effectively to create a library of resources for teachers to access when they need PD. We've learned how to repurpose video as learning objects and improve our online learning courses and programs, and we've learned how to collaborate across departments.
And one of our biggest takeaways, and one thing that I hope you take away from our presentation, is that done is better than perfect. If we had waited for everything to come together, to have the right equipment, the right video crew, the right personnel, we never would have started. So this really needs to start with one person, an idea, and a motivation to do something. Start small where you can, and it'll grow over time.
Okay, so maybe we caught you at ISTE in Philadelphia, maybe we didn't. But thank you for checking out our video here. And if you'd like to learn more about us, you can always contact us at uen.org/PDTV.